Do you like sitting next to weird people? I don't like sitting next to weird people. I think that's true for most of us. I mean, be honest, how many of you wish you could change seats right now? Yeah. The problem, though, is that by avoiding the weird people, by staying inside that comfortable cocoon of people like us, we're actually cutting ourselves off from the very people and experiences that can lead to our most creative ideas. And we need those ideas now more than ever. A few years ago, I was flying home to Seattle from New York. I had an aisle seat, and in the middle seat was nobody. I know, right? So I'm doing like my little internal happy dance when, just before the doors close, one last passenger gets on the plane. She was different. I don't know what Methuselah's grandmother actually looked like, but this had to be close. As she's shuffling down the aisle, I'm thinking, don't panic, Bill. It's a big plane. Come on, what are the odds? I'll tell you what the odds were, 100%. She stops right beside me, pokes me with her bony finger, points to my empty seat, and says, please, I am there. Sad dance. So I did what most of you might have done. I retreated into my cocoon. I put on my headphones and I escaped into my music. Music has always been my escape, whether I'm playing drums at a blues club or Chopin on my piano at home. And so for the next 5 hours, I retreat. Beatles, Beethoven, Miles Davis. And then, because I had just finished an incredible biography of one of my musical heroes, Stravinsky, I cap it off by listening to his magnificent Firebird Suite. As we descend into Seattle, middle seat pokes me again. Apparently it's time for the obligatory final descent conversation. You know that one? Is home for you? I'm sorry, what? Is home for you? Is home. Oh, Seattle, yes. How about you? No. I have a long way to go. I go to Russia. That is a long way. Da. I have not been there since I was a young woman. I was teacher. What did you teach? Music. Did you teach Russian music? Of course. Okay, now see, that's amazing, because I was just listening, like just now, to Stravinsky's Firebird Suite. Oh, Stravinsky, the Firebird. I was with him when he wrote it. And then the plane pulled up to the gate, and I never saw her again. I had just flown across the continent, separated by only 5 inches and a pair of headphones from possibly the most fascinating person I would ever meet. And I didn't know it until the last 5 minutes. I had completely written her off for 5 hours because she was different from me. How often do we do this? Miss out on an amazing conversation, an amazing experience, an amazing idea because they involve someone different from us. What's the real cost of staying inside your cocoon? See, I think the cost is incalculable. Because by staying hidden in our cocoons, we are robbing ourselves, our communities, and our world of the creative ideas that are essential to solving our biggest challenges. The world needs your creative ideas. What, mine? No, I'm not creative, Bill. No. Oh, stop it. The only reason people don't think they're creative is because they don't understand what creativity really is. They think it's the lightning bolt that only strikes the gifted few. Here's the secret. We are all the gifted few. For 15 years in Seattle, Washington, I was the executive producer of a comedy TV show called Almost Live. For 15 years, the fan club's here, both of them. For 15 years, our job, week after week after week, was to be creative. And over those 15 years, I discovered what creativity really is. But first, I have to teach you how to write a joke. Let's take a classic old joke. A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Why the long face?" Okay, now see, that was funny. Back in the days of vaudeville. Trust me, if this were 1920, you'd be rolling in the aisles. But what does this joke, and virtually any other joke you can think of, actually do? Well, it takes several elements that are different, that don't normally go together. Horses, bars, sadness. Well, bars and sadness, yeah. And finds a surprising connection, the long face. That's what creativity is. It's taking two or more things that are different and finding the surprising connection. In comedy, it's called the punchline. In creativity, it's called the iPhone. And the internet. And the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Well, creativity, in short, is all about connecting dots. And these dots can be anything. Ideas, experiences. An elderly woman in the middle seat. And the more ideas you encounter, the more experiences you have, the more people you interact with, the more connections you can make. This is a sheet of Avery dots. There are a lot of dots here, which means a lot of connections. That's good. Imagine, though, if all you had were 2 dots. Not a lot of connections going on here. Some people's brains are like this, aren't they? Yeah. How many of you know someone like this? How many of you are related to someone like this? Yeah, these are not the people who are curing cancer. I mean, it just stands to reason, doesn't it, that the more dots you have, the more connections you can make, which means the odds of one of those connections being that breakthrough idea for you, your office, your business, or your world increase dramatically. But what do you notice about these dots? They're all alike, aren't they? They're all 3/4 inch navy blue. Now, if all of your dots are 3/4 inch navy blue, then most of your ideas are going to be 3/4 inch navy blue ideas. Kind of predictable. But what if your dot collection looked more like this? Yeah. Well, you start connecting these dots, and there's no telling what color your connections, your creative ideas might be. A blue dot and a yellow dot make a green idea. And what if these dots were also different sizes and different shapes? What if your dots, the ideas, the experiences, the people in your life were different sizes, different colors, different shapes, different beliefs? Can you see the difference that would make in the quantity and the quality of your ideas? I told you I used to produce a TV show in Seattle. On January 10th, 1987, we were pumped because we'd gotten a genuine big name to be our guest. Our guest that night was this guy. Johnny Depp! Okay, in fairness, he did not look like this then. Did any of you, like in your teens and 20s, go through that awkward stage? Yeah, well, Johnny was going through his awkward stage too. I know! I mean, you guys in the audience, can you imagine having to go through your teens and 20s looking like that? Well, Johnny was shooting a TV series here in Vancouver at the time called 21 Jump Street, and we got him! Happy dance! Until the morning of the show, I get a phone call. Bill, it's Johnny Depp. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. No, they scheduled reshoots for Jump Street. I can't get out of it. I'm really sorry, but I have to cancel. String of bad words. And now we're in a panic. I call an emergency meeting, and we try and come up with a guest for tonight's show. Oh, what about one of them Seahawks? No, they're out of town. How about that cute new anchor at Como TV? No, she's in rehab. And on it goes, and it's starting to look hopeless when one of my writers, in fact, my lowest paid writer, pops his head up and says, I might be able to do something with liquid nitrogen. Clearly, he did not understand the situation. I mean, we're looking for a guest for the show, and he's babbling on about liquid nitrogen. By the way, this was my lowest paid writer. Yeah. His name was Bill. Well, naturally, my first reaction to Bill's suggestion was, shut up, Bill. Okay, look, maybe not my finest moment, but why was that my first reaction? Well, it's because I was in my cocoon, wasn't I? We all were, except for Bill. And in our cocoon, we were looking for a guest to interview. That was our 3/4-inch navy blue dot. But then Bill started painting a verbal picture for us, using different dots. Hey, guys, no, this could work. I mean, liquid nitrogen, it's very cold. You take an onion, throw it in the liquid nitrogen, take a pair of tongs, pull the onion out, hit it with a hammer, it shatters like glass. Cool. Guys, it gets better. You can take a marshmallow, throw it in the liquid nitrogen. I take the tongs, pull the marshmallow out, pop it in my mouth, bite down, smoke pours out of my nose and mouth. Cool! And that night, this guy became this guy, who now hangs out with these guys. Why? Because he was different than us. We were all writers and producers. Bill Nye was and is a science guy. He saw the world differently than we did. He was the different colored dot. And we all benefited from our collaboration with that different dot. The show benefited, Bill Nye benefited, and an entire generation that was introduced to the world of science and possibility benefited. When Bill Nye the Science Guy got his own TV show, he taped a list of objectives to the studio wall. Do you know what objective number 1 was? Change the world. The power to connect dots creatively is the power to change the world. In 1440, Johannes Gutenberg connected a wine processor with movable type and created the printing press. He changed the world. In 1962, a collaborative team of 4 young men from Liverpool, England, connected blues, Motown, skiffle, and pop, and created the Beatles. They changed the world. In 2016, Burger King connected a Whopper with a burrito and created the Whopperito. The jury is still out. But my point is that virtually every great invention, virtually every great idea, virtually every great thought that went on to change the world came from someone, or a collaboration of someone's, seeing 2 or more different dots and connecting them in a way that nobody else ever had before. And you can do it too. All you have to do is crack your cocoon. Can you do that? Will you do that? It just requires you to be 2 things. First, you have to be a dot collector. Remember, the more dots you have, ideas, experiences, people, and the more different they are, the more creative your connections will be. See, that's the real beauty of an event like this, because you're going to see a dozen or so brilliant talks, plus this one, that have nothing whatsoever to do with each other, except they do. They'll now be a part of your collection, which means that tomorrow, or a year from tomorrow, you'll suddenly think, wait a minute, this reminds me of that TED thing. And that's the real lightning bolt. That's how it happens. But you've got to collect the dots first. And the second thing you have to be is a dot connector. You have to teach yourself to ask the question, how is this like that? Because that's creativity. Creativity is the spark that ignites when two or more different ideas collide. So how will you crack your cocoon? How will you collect and connect your dots? Well, here's the thought. Instead of looking at other people as different, look at them as additional pieces to a puzzle. Your puzzle. You're just one piece. You need the others to complete the picture. And you can start today. You can. Look, have a conversation with someone you don't know. Go to lunch with someone different from you. Take a class. Learn a language. Become a street mime. Okay, some of these are better than others. Because when you crack your cocoon, your world will change. Your world will change because promise and possibility live outside of your cocoon. Innovation and opportunity live outside of your cocoon. And those creative ideas, the ones that can change not just your world, but our world, live outside of your cocoon. I'll always regret that I stayed inside my cocoon for that entire 5-hour flight. And I'll always wonder what that conversation might have been like if I had cracked my cocoon, let go of my prejudice and judgment, and connected with someone different from me. Don't miss out on your great conversations, your great opportunities, and yes, your great ideas. Crack your cocoon today.